I love bell sleeves so much. Hey everyone, Renee here. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming at you with a fun tag. This is the romance this or that book tag. So for this, I was tagged by my lovely friend Hannah from Hannah's Recent Reads, and I've also watched videos of this from other friends like Rachel from Ravenhand Reader and Cami from Burrows and Books, so I will link all three of their videos down below. But I think this is a really fun tag, especially as a romance reader, and if you love reading romance as well, hopefully this will be entertaining for you to watch. But essentially it is a tag of 17 questions about your preferences for romance books. So without further ado, I am just gonna get right into the questions. And the first question is Cliffhanger or Happily Ever After? And there's no doubt in my mind that this is a Happily Ever After. I am a Happily Ever After girl. I need that fairy tale ending, or at least a good ending. I want closure between the main couple. What else am I reading for if there isn't a Happily Ever After? And also I feel like cliffhangers are only acceptable if it's a series, and I don't often read romance series, nor do I really like them. I think the only exception to that is the Royal series, which is by Aaron Watt, and they definitely end in cliffhangers and they're super dramatic, but I eat that up. Maybe also the Addicted series, but I haven't read enough of it to know. But for the most part, Happily Ever After all day. Second question is hardcover or paperback? If you asked me this a few years ago, I would have said hardcover, but now I'm definitely a paperback stan. I just love the feeling of paperback better. They're easier to hold and they're easier to transport. Hardcovers are nice, but I feel like especially with romance books, you get them mostly in paperback, and I like it all to be cohesive. So I definitely am on team paperback now. Question number 3 is angsty or cute? I feel like this could go either way. I do love a good cute rom-com, but I think I'm gonna have to choose angsty. I love angst and broodiness and mysteriousness and tension. Like, I love that. So like I said, I love a good cute romantic comedy or just like a really cute story. I'll absolutely read both, but if I had to pick, I'd definitely pick angst. And that kind of ties into question 4, which is emotional or rom-com. Once again, I love a good rom-com, but when I'm looking at my favorite shelf, it is actually kind of 50-50. You have rom-com like The Honeymooners or The People We Meet on Vacation, but then you also have From Love and Other Words or Reminders of Him, which are really emotional. So it's kind of a mix of both, I would say, but I definitely feel more impacted by emotional books. I actually do like to cry when I read, so I might say emotional books. I feel like they last longer. Yeah. Question number 5 is book talk or bookstagram. I'm gonna have to go with book talk for this one. I used to love Instagram, but Instagram in my opinion is going drastically downhill. I'm sick of getting on Instagram and seeing a bunch of stuff that I don't care about, suggested posts of people I don't follow, ads, sponsored posts. Literally, where are my friends? Where are the people that I follow? Where are the recommendations that I want? And also, it almost kind of feels pointless to even post because Instagram isn't gonna show it to other people anyway. But Book Talk, on the other hand, knows exactly what I want. I could go to Barnes & Noble, I could look at a book, I could make eye contact with the cover and think about buying it, but be like, I don't actually know. Go home, get on Book Talk, there it is, with if I should buy it or not. Book Talk knows, Instagram does not. And that is the difference. And I know that there is this debate of like Book Talk always shows the same book, and I think it's just based on what you're viewing, because my Book Talk personally, I do see a lot of books that are the same, but I also get a lot of fresh recommendations because I do follow several different types of book talkers, people who read different genres, so I feel like I have a nice mix. And also the same could be said for Bookstagram. You see a lot of the same stuff on Bookstagram, but I also just see too much stuff that I don't care about on Bookstagram/Instagram. So to make this long-winded rant less book talk. Anyway, question number 6 is people on the cover or object on the cover. Definitely object. I hate people on the cover. But with romance, it's kind of weird because there are a lot of cartoon covers, and I actually don't mind those cartoon covers. Most of them are cartoon people, which I actually think are really cute. But I'm looking at this as real people on the cover, which is gross to me. I do not want a book with real people on the cover. If the book has a real person on the cover, I simply will not buy it. And that's the great thing about Kindle Unlimited, because all those books with people on the cover, I can just read on there and not have to physically own and stare at begrudgingly on my shelf. Question number 7 is a new release or backlist. I feel like this question is kind of hard because I definitely am a person who gives into the hype of new releases. I love new releases, but I also am always behind and always need to play catch up, which where backlist comes in. So I feel like I'm gonna have to say backlist simply because I feel like by the time I get around to a new release, it's not new anymore. It's very rare. So I think I'm gonna say backlist. Next question is TBR or free-for-all? Free-for-all. I cannot do TBRs. If I do a TBR, it is a seasonal TBR where I have months to read it because I cannot give myself a monthly TBR. I just can't. I won't stick with it. I'm a massive mood reader. I need the freedom. So free-for-all. Question number 9, open door or fade to black? I personally am an open door romance reader. I feel like open door just builds the connection better than fade to black. If you don't know, open doors in regards to smut, and then fade to black is where you don't really get a lot of that. So I mean, it's fine either way, especially if it's well written, but open door, I love me some spice, I love me some smut, and like I said, you just feel it more, I feel like, because some authors definitely add to the relationship in those moments with little things, and I love that, so I'm gonna say open door. The next question is audiobooks or physical reading. This one is kind of a toss-up because I do both. I find that audiobooks really help me when I'm commuting or working or cleaning. I oftentimes have something to do, so audiobooks really give me that opportunity to get some extra reading in. So I do definitely love audiobooks, but still at the end of the day, nothing compares to the feeling of a physical book in your hands. I absolutely love physical reading. So because that feeling is unmatched with any other form of reading, I am gonna say physical books, but I do appreciate audiobooks very much and I do consider them reading. Question number 11 is Kindle or nah? I'm gonna say yes because I love my Kindle. I love turning off the lights at night when I'm going to bed, but I'm not like ready for bed yet. Like I'm just like chilling and then I can just read in the dark. I love that. It's very peaceful. It definitely helps me sleep. And it's also just easy to transport as well. Like if I'm going somewhere, I can just whip my Kindle out of my purse and I'll always have a book with me. So I find that very reliant. I absolutely love my Kindle. So definitely gonna say I'm a Kindle stan. Question number 12 is buddy read or fly solo. This is one that I really wish I could say buddy read on, but I am not the best at buddy reads. I always try and I always see other people buddy reading and I'm like, oh wow, I wish that was me, but it's just not. I just end up reading much slower than everybody else because I often am busy or get in slumps, so they just don't ever really work out for me. So that being said, I'm gonna say fly solo just because I'm being realistic here. 13 is small town or dark romance. This kind of goes either way. I find dark romance, it's very 50-50 for me if I like it or not. Some dark romance is simply just not for me, but some really are. And then small town is the same way. I feel like small town, if done really well, could be highly entertaining. Like It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey, I absolutely love. But I also think that it could be a little bit boring as well. I think it really depends. But if I'm gonna compare the two, I feel like I've liked more dark romance books than small town, but I feel like the level of the small town books that I've liked are much stronger than any of the dark romance books I've liked. I don't know if that logic makes sense, but I'm gonna use it and I'm gonna say small town. Number 14, alpha or sweetheart hero? This question is where all of my morals go out the door because I am gonna say alpha because when I'm reading, I want a strong, badass, broody, angsty male character, okay? I want an enemies to lovers. I want a hate to love. I want the tension. And I feel like I don't ever get that with the sweetheart hero, but in real life, obviously, that's what I would prefer. We love a nice guy, sweet, caring Mr. Charming. But in books, I'm the exact opposite. And that's why I say my morals kind of have to go out the door a little bit because I don't know, when I'm reading, the alpha heroes are definitely more entertaining for me. Yeah. Question 15, multiple books at once or one book at a time? 100% multiple books at once. I cannot do one book at a time or I would never read. And the logic that I have with that is when I'm reading a book, I'm also thinking about all the other books that I have to read. And my mind at some point during reading the one book will be like, oh my God, I really want to read that book. And like, I won't be able to focus on the book that I'm reading until I start reading the other book. So I almost always have multiple books going at once because of that. And I also am a multiple format reader as well. So I'll be listening to an audiobook on my way to work, and then I'll come home and pick up a physical book. And then I'll go to bed and I'll read on my Kindle, and they're all different books. But I have books for like all different parts of the day. That's just how I have to be. That's how I am. And I do not get confused ever. So it works. Question number 16, damsel in distress or baddie character? This is no question. It is a baddie character. I love strong female leads. I love my badass women, and I get very annoyed by damsel in distress plotlines. Damsel in distress plotlines, sometimes if written well, can be okay, but most of the time I just get very frustrated because I don't really like to see women portrayed as weak in books. I love strong female characters. Most of my favorite characters, almost all of my favorite characters in books are more badass female leads. So there is no question in my mind, it is a baddie. Then question number 17, the last question is slow burn or insta love. No questions here. Without a doubt, slow burn. I hate insta love. I think that insta love makes it so boring. Within the first, like especially if they're together, like within the first 20% of the book, what am I reading it for? What am I reading it for? I just love slow burn. I love watching the relationship grow, seeing the tension build, and then you just get that incredible payoff at the end. Like, nothing compares to a slow burn. So absolutely going with slow burn. And that is all the questions. This is actually really fun. I love gushing about romance books. It's been a while since I've done a tag, and I really had a lot of fun with it. So thank you, Hannah, for tagging me. I am not going to tag anyone. I'm going to tag everyone who wants to do this because it is super fun, and I would love everyone to give it a shot, and I would love to see your answers. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have for you in this video. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up down below to help support this channel, and also subscribe to follow me on my reading journey if you haven't already. Like always, all of my socials will be down below for you to follow me on other platforms. And yeah, once again, I hope you like this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!